In a restaurant, food costs are quite literally the mountain we can either stand on or get buried under. And so here are 3 things you can do to keep your food costs down that cost you almost nothing, except for maybe a little bit of time and some creativity. One of the first things that you can do is pre-measured portions. Having specific measuring devices, so like cups that you can squirt liquids into, cups that you use to pull condiments out of, for example. If you can, the most successful restaurants will often have pre-packaged, the foods themselves are already pre-measured and set up for the recipes as they're being prepared to cook. Not only does that make it faster to cook, but it makes sure that the food costs stay down as you're using the right measures, the right amount. And here's another thing. This also helps with food consistency. And all of us that have done anything in restaurants know that consistency is the name of the game in the restaurant business. So the second thing is watch your waste. And we all know that. We all know that in the restaurant industry, it's first in, first out. Here's some things that you can do to make that easier. The first one, if you can, think about restructuring your stock, like your freezers and everything, to load from the back, pull from the front. And that's oftentimes all it takes to make sure that you're using that first in, first out. Now, we don't often have enough room to do that. And so here's a kind of a sneaky little trick that I've seen some do. And that is they'll go from left to right. So instead of placing, like a giant can of beans in the front, and then you have to move it in order to push it back and get the old one and, out, consider resetting your stock up so that it goes left the oldest and right the newest. And then in some industries, I've actually heard of what's called FIFO Fridays. Well, they'll say, okay, on Fridays, we're going to go through and just check everything and make sure that the newest stuff is in the back and the oldest stuff is in the front. Now, in restaurants, that's kind of tough because Fridays are often the busiest, but the principle is still useful. Like a FIFO day where you have everybody go through and check to make sure that all of the inventory is in, first out order. Inventory waste bonuses. If you get your staff involved with keeping your inventory waste down, a lot of times you don't even have to set up a formal program. If you just went around every once in a while when you had a good food waste week or month, for example, and hey, we did really well on our food waste, here's a gift card or something like that, that sends the signal that food waste is a big deal to us. So having bonuses for food waste. The third thing that you can do is spot checking our suppliers. If you have time to compare similar foods from multiple suppliers, do that. But if not, at very least, go through and spot check a few of the items that you can buy from multiple suppliers. And then here's the secret. Communicate to your supplier that you're checking, right? A lot of times suppliers will, and we all know this, we love our suppliers, but they'll slowly creep the price up if they don't think we're checking. And so sometimes spot checking items and then calling up to say, hey, when I was checking my prices against other suppliers, I noticed that my cost of French fries has gone up, for example. Just having that conversation will oftentimes keep your suppliers more honest so that you're not the one that they kind of slowly ratchet the price up on. These are tricks that we've put into place for a restaurant that we took from utterly bankrupt to where today it's not only the top rated restaurant in the area that it serves, but it's been on multiple TV shows. It produces over $1 million of profit, and just very basic tactical tricks is what we've used in order to put the restaurant back on the map.